just walk everyone through what our like behind the scenes script or whatever you want to call it notes are, and just describe everything on there, and then we'll get into what we're actually doing.
No.
Sounds like a great idea.
Absolutely not. All right. Episode 4, Sport Ball Podcast. Sport Ball. It is Dom, A.A. Ron, Chase, and our special guest, STREZO. Welcome, buddy.
How's it going?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for making the drive. I know it was a haul. We just want to talk broomball with you, man. I think one of our goals of this podcast is to highlight some sports that people don't really know a lot about on. Our next guest is he's a local comedian in Charlotte. He's gonna come and talk about some skateboarding and snowboarding and stuff that's going on in the world. But yeah, dude, I said we love to focus on sports that people don't really pay enough attention to as they would like or as they should. So STREZO, I mean, we have Chase here that's never seen a broomball game.
I have very little idea what to expect. And
I'm sure none of our viewers have seen broomball, nevertheless even heard of broomball. So I think you should just kind of give a brief explanation of like how you would explain it.
Well, the way that we've been explaining it lately is it's like hockey, but for people who can't skate. It is.
But if you can skate, it's a very easy transition, though.
It's I don't know if I would say. Well, it's easy in that you can understand the rules of the game because the game is basically played exactly like hockey with a handful of changes.
Yeah.
But you play on ice. That's another thing that a lot of people don't get right away. They're like, "Oh, you play on ice," and you have special shoes that you run on the ice instead. They're this really soft, thick rubber shoes so that when you step on the ice, it sort of squishes out the rubber and you get more surface area.
Yeah, so this is going to be a weird comparison, but it's kind of like playing air hockey more so than like... Does that make sense? Because it's like you got the... Like how the bottom...
How it slides.
Yeah,
you're just sliding instead of skating.
That's a good comparison. I never would have thought about that, dude. That's a good comparison. But just... Not about how you play it, but just about how you slide.
Yeah. Not conceptually, just more so in how you interact with the playing surface.
It's definitely very different from hockey in terms of how
the movement.
You're moving.
Yeah, the movement.
Because with skating, you're gliding everywhere, right? So you have this ability to glide, you have this ability to stop. With broomball, you have to pay attention to where your center of gravity is. And you have to, because if you move your center of gravity in a certain direction too far, you'll just fall over. And a lot of the competition is sort of getting somebody moving in a direction and then going in the other direction.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard for people to be able to switch direction.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely because I grew up playing hockey since I was 2 years old. I knew how to skate. And I'm playing goalie since I was about like 4 or 5. But it's just the difference from hockey is that you can stop on a dime when you're skating on those skates. I mean, you can cut into the ice and just whoosh. But in broomball, I mean, you can definitely kind of stop on a dime, but you have to know what you're doing. If you don't have your balance down and know how the ice is going to react with certain shoes that you have on and everything, it's going to be very hard to stop in a concise and accurate motion. I would say for sure. But I think it's also like so I play goalie, so the net is significantly bigger than it is in hockey. But also you're shooting a much bigger target. So the broomball ball is about like how much, like, do you know the dimensions of it?
I don't, but I would say it's about the size of a cantaloupe.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I would agree.
Or a honeydew.
So it's okay. Yes.
It's a melon size.
That's a very.
But not a watermelon. It's got to be a
regular melon,
a round melon, not an oblong melon.
Yes.
But yeah, no. So and then what you would say is probably about compared to like a softball. You'd say it's probably about like what 3 times bigger than a softball, 4 times.
It's
no, not that big.
No.
I don't know, dude.
I would say it's about twice the size of a softball.
You're talking about the area of a softball, and you're talking about spheres the math. I don't know how
There's
to.
a lot of math
We
going
will
on.
put
I
up
think-
a picture. We will put up a
Yeah.
picture of a broom ball.
Yeah. But no, we'll also
sure
have
there's a
highlights
comparison
going.
image.
We'll also have highlights going of the most recent week of Broomball League here in Charlotte. It's played at Indian Trail. It's at Extreme Ice Center out there. So we play every Monday. We actually have a pickup coming up this Monday. It's $15 to play. You can sign up online or just show up and pay card. But yeah, it's Broomball. It's really fun, man. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, we'll have the highlights up. This past week we played. Dominic and I are in the league, as well as TK is also in the Broomball League, and our buddy Nick, who we'll get on here sometime to talk about either college football or some hockey. But
I have one burning question going on.
go for it, dude.
And that is, I see your name, Aaron, on there, and you said you were the goalie, and I see the save percentage. Is that .762 a good number or a bad number?
He saves the ball 75% of the time.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I'm just
So
saying, for y'all, is that a good number or a bad
So
number?
I would
In Broomball.
obviously from going from hockey to Broomball, it's really tough because I want to save 95% of the shots to go in. But also in this season so far, especially in this week, I played 2 games this week because one of the goalies was absent. So I played 2 games this week in league. And in the first game, I think 2 or 3 of the goals that went in bounced off of my own team's, like, it bounced off my own team and then deflected in. So, I don't know. That's the thing about, like, it's so tough, dude, because
It's just hard, after seeing you kill me in Beard Eye a few times, seeing your hands.
dude,
I was
well, that's
like,
what I'm
you
saying.
better-
Like,
I have high
think,
expectations
okay,
for your
so
goalie talk. You
so
talked
I
yourself
am
up in
so
that
okay.
game,
So I am
man.
on Strezo's team. I was on her team last season too, and that was my first season playing. But for this league, and especially for this week, I think you can say, even though we lost, we were missing number 1, our best player, but number 2, I think you can admit. I mean, I made some pretty crazy saves. I don't know, dude. Like, I make good saves.
I
It's
trust
just-
that you're pretty good.
If-
I know you
if-
play
if-
goalie. I'm just fucking with you.
As somebody who's been playing for 12 years now, I
was
think.
just about to ask that. You've been playing for 12 years?
Yeah,
Okay.
I started when I first moved down here. I didn't have. I was playing street hockey up in Pittsburgh. We
Yep.
call it deck hockey.
Yep.
So I was looking for street hockey down here. Couldn't find it, and Googled broomball because they do play broomball in Pittsburgh. But at the time, I wasn't playing. I didn't know anything about it. It sounded stupid. So
Yeah.
I was just like,
It does sound a little bit
Whatever.
ridiculous.
When
Yeah.
you explain it to an outside person, it sounds ridiculous.
But once you
Yeah.
see it, it's so much fun.
To give a little bit of context, I am an avid disc golf fan, so this is not
Yeah.
really a weird sport. to me.
sure.
I love disc golf, too.
That makes sense.
Disc golf is something we're gonna get into, but anyway.
But, yeah,
But like as far as goalies go, you see a lot less shots. And because the goal is bigger, I think that a 7.62 percentage is pretty high. I don't know because we haven't been tracking a lot of stats for broomball as a sport.
Yeah, I think that's something I kind of undercut is the fact that number is there in the first place. Like the fact that you
Yeah.
guys have that calculated
Like,
is pretty
so
crazy.
There's to talk about broomball on a national level. There is a new national organization, United States Broomball Association, USBA Broomball, and they are I sort of helped organize this group, but they're designed to focus on helping and supporting all of the broomball leagues across the country.
Oh, yeah, man.
So there's a lot of people, from the East Coast that are working on it. But one of the things, so we had a national tournament in Carolina in June this year,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
part of that we have our new score sheets of. I don't know if you've been in the score box yet, but we have these new score sheets where we're actually tallying shots, right? And I know
yeah.
you had some concerns about that.
I was
And that's
robbed, man.
partially that's because it's new. It's for
But
us,
Jake,
it's brand new. but-
Jake got it right though. See, you see,
he
it?
updated it?
16 shots on week 3. Yeah,
So yeah, like the concept of storing all of those things is sort of new, and also that's because the sport's growing, right? So as we grow, we are trying to do new cool shit.
They
That's
had
just-
21 shots on me in the first game. Or no, 10? No, there's no way they had
No,
20
they had 21
on Mikey.
on you. They had 21 on you. They had you guys. had 10
Oh
on
yeah,
them.
okay. Yeah, I was about to say it, dude. Yeah,
Same thing
that's
over
crazy.
here,
Okay,
16 us.
so 21 shots in a broomball game is pretty crazy. Isn't
That's
it?
a lot. Usually it's closer to like 10 or 12. It might be less. It depends on the team. But yeah, it's closer to like 10 or 12 shots. And also it depends on the team, right?
Yeah.
So in this case...
But it also
you know,
sucks though that for me to have, on average, I mean, you would say basically a 75.5 save percentage for this weekend because I played 2 games and I still lost both games.
Averaged 18.5 shots.
Well,
against
you
We've
know
already
what?
established the fact that we need to work on
We
offense.
we have to score goals in order for you to win. That is
Yeah,
how
you-
that works.
37 shots against in 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, our team has some younger guys.
Dominic,
Scott
he got
us
it.
back from
Dominic, you're okay to stand up out there on the ice, dude. You don't have to do the hunch. It's okay. Because unlike in hockey, where you have to kind of you use kind of not bending over more your knees as leverage for how you have to balance. And broomball, you can stand pretty much straight up while you're running and while you're defending. Because if you're standing straight up, like what Q did against us, whenever someone tried to flip out the zone, you can just grab it, and bring it down. And
How does I guess ball movement work? Does that make sense?
it's the
Like, how
same
do
as
you get
hockey.
the ball? Do you
It's
have
same
to
as
intercept
hockey.
it, or-
It's the same as hockey, where you pass it to one another. It's just a little bit slower because you're moving a bigger object and it has more spin, and the stick's a little bit different, way different. So you don't have as much control over
It's like
where
you
the-
have
There's
a
no control out
so,
there.
so
well,
the,
there is. You just haven't figured it out yet.
the broomball stick, instead of it being like a rectangular wood stick, it is often like hexagonal or octagonal, and it's aluminum. So it's a heavier,
But
it's a metal stick.
So
but
it's
the
more
end,
akin to
but
like
the
a
end of the
lacrosse
stick's like
stick than
rubber.
a
But the end of the stick's
hockey
rubber.
stick.
Yeah.
Here it
So
is, here
you've
it
got
is,
like
yeah.
you got like a metal or sorry, you have like a plastic or a rubber head on the end, and there's various different shapes. Like you see, there's a
Go to the one to the left. Dom.
trapezoidal shape is one. You'll see the one where it's sort of angled. Sometimes with that trapezoid shape, they will like cut off the corners to give you a
click on
different
that
feel on it.
Yeah, like how those are.
There's the
Yeah.
boom broom is another broom where it's a circle and it has a concave curve.
Doesn't Christian
on
use
the
that
inside.
one?
Yeah, Christian uses it. You'll see it, the
Yeah, that one.
concave
Yeah, that's that one,
allows
yeah.
you to sort of cradle the ball with the stick. But also that one is a super heavy head. So if you hit the weight of the head and the weight of the stick will also determine how the ball reacts. Because if you have a heavier stick and a heavier head, the heavier stuff obviously is going to just stop the ball.
Yeah.
Whereas like I have very light stuff. My stick is super light. The head is lighter. So when the ball hits mine, oftentimes it'll like ricochet.
So it's the same concept with baseball bats. I don't know if you're familiar with the way the aluminum baseball bats work, but the lighter bat means more than the heavier weight. That's why you have restrictions for youth where that has to be a certain weight because their swing speed just gets crazy with how light's the bat. And that, they hit ball faster, further, so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. But do you have like people that play defense generally want a heavier stick? Like what's the decision of like how heavy of a stick you want versus a lighter stick? If that makes sense.
I think Nick's a drunk ass in that photo.
I will say, so I haven't heard a lot about the weight, although there are a lot of times the weight is more for do you want a heavier shot? And obviously with defense, if you have a heavier stick, it's harder to, it's easier to knock the ball down. and stop the ball. Whereas if you have a lighter stick, it kind of bounces around more. But also in broomball, there are two sort of standard sizes. So the offensive stick that they have is a shorter stick, and then the defensive stick is like maybe 4 or 5 inches longer. So you have a lot more reach, and you're able to sort of stop the ball more. Whereas your offensive stick is easier to swing because your stick is shorter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Gretzky versus like Chara stick, basically. Like with the Gretzky stick, you always have the short stick. You're gonna have way more control over that if you have a shorter stick, and you have, I guess you can choke up more. But if you're playing defense, you obviously want the longer, heavier one, because that way you can deflect shots easier and make the ball, like if someone's coming down the ice, you can really kind of force them to wherever you want them to be.
If you have a long stick, you can have a really booming shot. Like Q has a
Q's
really booming shot.
Well, because he has a heavy stick and also like a really long one, so it's like he has weight and power behind his shots, and he can pull it from anywhere because he does that quick little snap, and he just bam. Like that's the most dangerous thing is just getting in traffic and broomball, and then having someone shoot it. It's crazy because the ball bounces so much if it deflects off somebody that.
I took so many shots to the back of the leg this week because I was trying to jump in front of balls, but I didn't want to jump in front. Like I was like, so
that's the thing though is that you have all your padding on the front.
Yeah, but I don't have padding on my PP yet. So.
Get a cup, dude. Oh my god.
Well, it's a good point that you bring up though, because as far as the sticks go, there are actually different kinds of sticks too. So you can have a curved head, just like in hockey. It's not used in the same way as a curved stick in hockey. You can still do sort of wrist shots. And those types of things.
I saw that in whenever we traveled to University of Miami. Some guy took like a wrist shot with this broomball, and I was like, "What?" I even told him because like I ended up saving it. But I told him whenever we were lined up, I was like, "Did you just take a wrist shot?" It was the first time I'd ever seen that. Mm-hmm. I was like, "Dude, you just I don't know." That's just so bizarre because that's something you don't see people do here playing Carolina Broomball. But yeah, it was just
the shots are not. So when you take a slap shot in hockey, you're literally putting a load on the stick and sort of
flex you're
pushing the stick
so
down
cool.
onto the ice and creating a load so that when you swing through, you've got this kinetic energy, right? That's unleashed to make the puck go faster.
Bounce back.
But you can't do that really in broomball. There's no that shot doesn't exist. Yeah. So instead, what you have is more of like a Happy Gilmore type shot.
Yes.
Like a lot of times, and it's almost like a polo shot and like a golf swing. So if you have a golf swing,
that's what I've been trying to tell you, Dominic.
The golf and also tennis. So there's actually a really good tennis player in our league, Doug, and he's the one that has
Doug
a
Boyd?
stick when he does a
Doug
one-handed
Boyd
shot.
plays tennis?
Yes.
Shout
That's
out to
where
Doug.
he gets his shot from.
Doug Boyd is a menace.
You either have like the Happy Gilmore shot where somebody is literally whipping their stick all the way around 360 degrees.
That's the real shot.
To get that shot.
Doug
And also like a baseball swing. It's similar. You're transferring your weight from your hips forward into the stick and you're pulling it through.
Yes.
So it's very similar to that.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely something that, even if you never played hockey, it's something that's definitely easy. Well, I wouldn't say easy, but it's something that's definitely able to be picked up. It's very good exercise, especially because, like you said earlier,
It's a lot of running.
Yeah, because unlike hockey, there's no gliding. You don't.
You have to
glide
run
around.
everywhere.
You have to run
You have to stop
everywhere.
everywhere. You can't just stop and then keep moving.
Yeah.
You have to.
My first impression in terms of like how I'm gonna feel after playing
That
this
goalie's also
is
very
that, like,
short, by the way.
all of those balancing muscles in my shins
Yep.
would just be shot. You know,
Yeah.
like I feel like the
Hold on,
bone
yeah, pull up.
structure, like it wouldn't feel like I was
Put
like
this in the full screen, Dominic.
running on concrete, but I feel like all those balancers in my legs would just be absolutely shot from just that constant pressure going back and forth and trying to
Full
maintain my
screen.
balance.
I would say the first ones you're going to notice are in your groin. Everything is going to be when you're trying to stabilize yourself, when you're stopping to run back and forth, you're going to be using those muscles to stabilize yourself, and that's what you're going to feel first. It's going to feel super achy in there.
Put on ours. Keep going.
Yeah. So that is STREZO from Carolina Broomball.
Yeah.
We play every single Monday night.
Yeah.
We start
And
around 8 o'clock down in the Extreme Bike Center
8 o'clock.
in Indian Trail. I'm
9.
just telling people to get there at 8 o'clock.
Get there at 8 because they got the bar upstairs. It's very nice. But yeah, so we play every Monday. And what's the next Monday coming up? It's the October. Yeah, I know it's in October 3rd.
October 3rd, yeah.
October 3rd.
It's gonna be pickup.
Yeah, so there's pickups. That means
There
anyone.
it is, number 66, STREZO.
Anyone can come out and play. They have gear for you to use for free. All you have to do is pay the $15 to come out and play.
That's not free.
But the gear comes with it, and we play for what, an hour and 15 minutes?
Jeez, for pickup, it's almost 2 hours.
It depends. A lot of times it's supposed to be for 90 minutes, but if the person doesn't come out to cut the ice, we can keep playing.
Okay, word, yeah. So,
and a lot of times, like Q works for
Yeah.
the ice rink, so if he's the one that's actually cutting it, sometimes it's just we can.
It also depends on how many people show up. I mean, if we have a pickup where there's only 10 people who show up, we're gonna be dead by the time that 90 minutes is over.
Yep.
So we want the pickup to be over by then.
Yep, and definitely, I think something you might notice watching the highlights we have up here on the screen is that not to be offensive, sir, but there's a bunch of kind of older people out there, and so I mean, if you're young, just watch our buddy TK. He's probably the shortest guy out there. Sorry, TK, but just watch him on these highlights and just see the speed advantage that he has, and just realize that if you're young and you can pick it up, you can definitely make a difference in this league. So come on and try it out. Like I said, if you don't like it, at least you got a good little exercise out of it. So
Yeah, the average age in our league right now is like right at 40, maybe a little bit earlier. But
I think
our
little group's kind of bringing it down a little bit now.
Yeah,
Probably
I'm excited. We want to have a lot more younger people. I'm in the process of trying to engage with some of the colleges.
Yeah.
We want more younger people playing because a
that's the
lot
thing
of us
is
are
that-
going to retire at some point.
Yeah, well, that's also the thing is that I think Dominic and I specifically, especially with us doing this, we're really gonna I at least want to help you guys with that. And I love broomball. Like I said, I grew up playing hockey, but I love broomball, so I would love to get some more people involved. So you might even have to, get a little TikTok going, maybe an Instagram page going.
Dude, I'm super excited. There's a lot of things that we can do with TikTok. I know that Pittsburgh already has a TikTok, Pittsburgh Broomball. There's Rock City Broomball,
Rock
which
City,
is there in Maryland.
They won the championship in the summer thing, didn't they?
Well, so there's Rock Pile, and those folks are out of
my bad.
Western Ohio. Or some of them are from Minnesota as well, but no, Rockville, I think Rock City is in Baltimore. There's a couple of leagues in Baltimore, but yeah, no, there's broomball all over the place. There's leagues. There's one in Florida. There's where I don't even know where that is. It's in Boca. I think
Southern
it's
Heat?
close to
Southern Heat?
It's close to like Boca Raton. There's the one there.
But whenever they travel, they recruit pretty much anyone from Florida that wants to go. Because I'm sure people especially if they only play it in the one place. I mean, people from
it's
Florida
the only place that they play
so.
at, and also their rink is the shorter ice, so they play a different game than we do. Like we play on a regulation NHL rink.
Yeah.
But down there they play on maybe half the size.
Oh, that must be
so there's when you play on a shorter rink, there's a lot more passing involved, and so they're more in tune with moving the ball together, as opposed to where we are.
But you got to imagine they can't be conditioned enough.
Yeah, no, the running is definitely a challenge for them in terms of moving up and down the ice. But they are definitely better at sort of moving the ball and passing it and moving it around that way. But we got leagues all over the place. There's Baltimore, Boston. There's a bunch up in New England, like New Hampshire. There's Pittsburgh has a league. I'm trying to think where else.
Ohio.
In Ohio, there's one in Cincinnati. There's one in Cleveland. There's Detroit, I think, is starting a broomball league. The majority of broomball is actually played in Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
So because Minnesota, Minnesota's the state of 10,000 lakes or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Well, because of the fact that they have so many lakes, and because they're in a place where it gets super cold in the wintertime, there's lots of ice, so that they can continue to play in the wintertime all the time. Literally, I have friends in Minnesota that right now in the summertime are just playing 2 or 3 times a week. They have ice.
It's the
that's
off
indoor
season.
ice. It's the off season, right?
Well, that's the thing too, is that we don't. Number one, ice time's expensive down here because we only have 2 rinks in Charlotte, so they can charge pretty much whatever the hell they want for ice time.
Yeah, and that's actually, it's funny because it's sort of the opposite down here in North Carolina because we don't have a lot of place to practice. Playing in the tournaments is a great place to get some of the experience.
Oh yeah,
And as far as the league goes, because Carolina Broomball is a 501c3, we're a nonprofit, we will volunteer at places like Bank of America Stadium where the Carolina Panthers play, or what is it called now?
Spectrum Center.
Spectrum Center. There's a couple of other places that we volunteer at, but you could volunteer for one game or one concert or whatever it is that we go to. But we do have volunteer events where you could come out and we run a concession stand. So there's different places you could volunteer for one day and basically pay for your whole season. And then also the money goes to Carolina Broomball, so then we can do things like reduce the amount. We subsidize how much it costs to play in the league, so we reduce league fees by the volunteer events that we do.
For sure. But I think looking back on week 3,
I just have to start with it.
you have to do it. I think the biggest surprise of the week,
Duval!
Jacksonville Jags getting the dub over the Chargers. I can't believe we had 2 people guess that one right. That's ridiculous.
I kind of hate that TK took my thunder with that one.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, man.
Yeah,
I was like, come
TK
on, let me have the Jags on this.
TK's coming for the overall points, man.
Yes, he is.
He's coming.
But,
especially
yes.
if we do the percentage, because by the end of the year, Streets, because I know you may not know this, at the end of the season, if you come back for more episodes or whatever, or you can just keep sending us your picks and we'll keep track of it.
Yeah.
We'll see who has the highest. Since people have missed certain weeks, we'll do
Win percentage.
Yeah, win percentage. So whoever has the highest win percentage.
So right now, Chase and I would be tied
Yeah.
at 25, 22, and 1.
Yep. So we'll figure out something that the winner's gonna get. We haven't really figured it out yet, but it'll be something. We might get you a good case of beer.
I'll take it.
Some Labatt Blues.
But yeah, man, I kind of expected a close game in that one, but 38-10? Like, what?
Yeah.
The Jaguars completely shut down the Chargers. I think a lot of it had to do with, Justin Herbert being hurt. I really don't think he actually should even play this game.
No.
I think they would have been better off with Chase Daniels out there. Because especially you just don't want to keep risking more injury to Justin Herbert. The Jaguars, while they might be 2-1 sitting at the top of their division,
They need him to be healthy.
Do we really see them in the AFC Championship game at the end of the year?
Not if they keep being reckless and
Yeah.
throwing around their.
They're having a great start to the
quarterback.
season.
Yeah.
We'll see if they play well again this week. I think they're playing who are they playing? The Eagles. So this will be a really good test
Oh, the
for
Jags,
the
yeah.
Jaguars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If the Jags. Yeah. I said the Jags look like they actually might be something that around like a 500 or
Travis
better.
Etienne is a
Mm-hmm.
monster out there.
Yep.
And Trevor Lawrence, he got his first away victory in his career this weekend.
It's probably only his second win.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah.
I'm joking, but there were definitely some snoozers this week. Starting off with just the primetime games, right? They were just right. No.
Yeah, but I would say definitely the first primetime game.
Yeah.
49ers at Broncos was
The
probably the worst football game
I
I've
was,
ever seen in my life.
yes, I was still thinking that the Packers and Buccaneers was primetime because
No.
it should have been, even though that was a horrible game.
Yeah.
But then, I think everyone can agree that the 49ers and the Broncos was probably one of the worst put together games of football I've seen.
Jimmy G pulled an Orlovsky. I mean, that's all I have to say about it. I mean,
Orlovsky's finally free.
And not only that,
It saved
the
him from an
Broncos still
interception, though.
only won. You know.
Yeah.
It did save
And
him from the pick six.
to be fair, we'll get to this in another game, but that's one of two safeties this weekend that you could argue were better than the alternative of giving up
That's
a touchdown.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
We'll get to the other one.
The butt one.
The butt punt.
The butt punt. Oh, I definitely.
Everyone said you need to call it the
forgot
bunt.
to
You just need to call it the bunt.
Add that game to the list.
There's
Well, I mean, we can go ahead and just talk about it.
Yeah.
Dude. Let's go ahead and just talk about the Bills and the Dolphins. What a crazy game!
Just the most depressing, cursed game. It's one of the what a mess. If anybody can see, I don't know if Dominic could pull it up or put it in post. There's a graphic out there that displays the discrepancy between the Bills and the Dolphins in terms of just yardage, first downs, time of possession. Like every statistic you could think of, other than the actual score to determine who won the game. The Bills had twice as many yards, twice as many passing, rushing yards.
First downs.
More third downs, more fourth downs.
More
Over
sacks.
double the amount of total plays. I mean, you could argue penalties, but that wasn't even insane.
Time of possession. I mean,
They did everything other than the final score to win this game by a blowout margin.
If you showed anybody those stats without them knowing the final score, and you asked them who would win,
and you tell them that Miami punted the ball out of the back of their own end zone. You don't even have to tell them how. Just tell them that Miami punted the ball out of their own end zone for a safety and these stats.
Yeah.
And then tell them they won. And
Josh
how does that
Allen
happen?
for 63 times.
Yeah, 42 completions, 400 yards.
He also led them in carries.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, no, he did not. I'm sorry. Devin Singletary led them in carries.
But still,
he had 13 yards.
He had the most.
Carries.
He had the most yards out of any.
Yeah.
player.
But anyway, that was such just an insane game. You got to feel for Josh Allen to be thrown 63 times at a football game.
It's one of a few games this week that, at least for me, I am taking almost nothing from.
We also no. We can definitely take this from it.
Miami is a made team. They are good. They managed to win the
That's
game.
the important thing. We got a meme.
We got a meme.
out of it. It's an all-timer.
He's literally destroying.
Here's both sides.
Destroying his iPad up in the stand.
Oh, from that one, dude.
no,
there were like 3 memes come from that game.
Yeah.
There were the guys destroying his iPad upstairs. There was
the hug.
there was the butt kick, and then there was the hug where it looked like Josh Allen was just crying into his shoulder.
But both sides of this game, for Miami, all it tells me is they are at least somewhat for real because they managed to win a game with all of that tomfoolery going on. But at the same time, I look at the Bills and I look at the numbers, other than the final score. I look at the numbers and it's like, that is an expected stat line. If you told me that was, except for the score, if you told me those were the numbers for this game, I would 100% buy it and say the Bills got an easy W.
Like 40 to 13 or something like that.
I feel like this is one of those games that's just cursed, that the Bills were just going to lose and they're going to move on to next week and they're going to be just fine in the long term. So other than Miami, they are a good team. I'm not really taking a whole lot from this game.
Either one of them would have won this game, and the other one would have not probably been dropped down anywhere unless it was a complete blowout.
Yeah.
If Miami would have been blown out, then Miami probably would have dropped more if, let's say, Miami blew out Buffalo.
Yeah.
Buffalo we haven't even gotten to the power rankings
yet,
bro.
But all right, Lions at Vikings. We're going to talk about that one just because the Lions need to learn how to close out.
Yeah, they were so close. They were so close.
All right. But again, Captain Kirk in the 1 o'clock window.
I feel
any time that's not prime time.
Yeah, he's not in prime time. It's a good bet.
Yeah.
He'll win.
These are, I feel like, very evenly matched teams. The Vikings are a good to somewhat great in moments team down to a mediocre team, and the Lions are kind of on the come up trying to get into that middle pack, upper middle pack type of team. And so I feel like that's what you saw in this game is the Lions are trying to figure out how to beat teams like the Vikings consistently to become one of those upper middle teams.
Yeah, I think the Lions are definitely just completely improved all around. Like the football team is just they're a good watch now.
Yeah,
like, they're a good team to watch.
Yeah, and then also we got to touch on the fact that Cooper Rush is now 3-0 as a starter. I think he's the dude. Look up the quarterback, but he's the first quarterback since someone like really good for the Cowboys to start 3-0. Do 3-0 record or something like that.
Oh man,
Cooper
I have no
Rush,
idea.
But yeah, no, he's tied for who are some of like the legendary.
Well, it's probably Dak.
I mean, the
No,
last
no.
Dak, Romo,
Dak definitely
Bledsoe,
started 3-0, 'cause Dak was like
Troy.
15.
It was Troy. It was Troy
Oh.
Aikman. He was the last one to start 3-0 as a starter. In his first 3 starts, he's 3-0.
Troy?
Aikman, yeah.
So you heard it here first. Aaron
I
is
was
saying
sure
Cooper
about that?
Rush
I
is
was
going to
Troy
bring the
went
Cowboys.
like 1-15 in his first year.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. It's definitely Dak.
Either
Dak
way,
was like 15-1.
Either way, the point you're trying to get to is Cooper
That's when
Rush.
Romo got hurt and Dak. They went on that crazy tear.
I don't know, bro. I heard that on the radio today. I guess someone was capping it.
But anyway, either one of those.
I thought I was like, wow, that's a cool stat.
Let's get to the root cause. So you're on the team that you want to see a QB battle between Dak and Cooper Rush.
Oh yeah, dude. I want Cooper
Jerry
Rush to
Jones
come.
is hitting at it, man.
Dude, I saw that,
Your
man.
team, Jerry. I mean, that would be the third time in a row that the Cowboys
Yes.
had a decently good, I'm not going to say great, but decently good
He got
quarterback
replaced
gets
by
hurt
injury.
and gets replaced.
Yeah, dude.
It happened Bledsoe, that's how Romo got his job, and then it happened to
with
Romo and Dak. Now we're about to have Dak.
Hey, all I'm saying, if they're ready to get rid of Dak, hey, TB12 is retiring. Let's get Dak to the Bay. Let's just bring Dak to the Bay. Let's bring him down there. We'll take
I
care
can't
of
wait for
Mike Evans will take care of him.
Can't wait for Brady to for sure or pretty sure be retiring for you to go on your recruiting trip of just every player that you could think of.
I'll take Derek
Come
Carr.
on.
We'll take Derek Carr in the Bay.
Like,
We don't want
Kyler
Marcus
Murray
Mariota.
wants out. Hey,
We don't want Marcus Mariota in
We
the Bay.
don't want.
I'd rather have Jameis Winston over Marcus.
We
Mariota.
don't want Aaron Rodgers in the Bay.
Too old.
Well,
Well, dude, there's a no trade clause in his new contract.
We don't want
that he
Russell
signed.
Wilson in the Bay.
There's a no trade clause though for Aaron Rodgers, so he's not moving.
just get old Carson Wentz down there.
Do not want Carson Wentz in the Bay. I
What
want
about-
him as far away from the Bay.
What
as
about
possible.
big cock Joe Flacco,
I'll
dude?
take Joe Flacco in the Bay.
Yeah, the way
I
he's playing for
mean,
the Jets, I'll take Joe Flacco.
Fuck it.
But the Panthers' offense continues to look horrific. Like
Oh, it was bad.
it's such
Anemic,
a bad,
one might say.
anemic. Like not even watching.
No,
They
it's
were
bad.
lucky. Again, they were lucky to what score 22 points.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
defense.
Scored 7.
Yeah,
So
That's the
offense-
difference right there.
yeah. I mean, yeah, the defense definitely gave more cause for applaud from the audience than the offense, and I don't know. I think during the whole game, whenever the offense was out there, is a lot more quiet than it was whenever the defense was out there. Whenever the defense was out there, even before plays and during and after plays and everything, the crowd was still rowdy. People were just kind of silenced by Baker Mayfield overthrowing and underthrowing
They
people
just
all
needed
day.
something good to happen in Carolina. They just needed that win.
Just a little bit of, just a glimpse of hope.
Yeah.
Just a
So
glimpse.
the Monday night game, or excuse me, the Sunday night game, 49ers at Broncos. We already talked about it, but just
just horrible.
Just a horrible.
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 It was the only the second game in NFL history to end 11-10.
Yep.
It's a baseball score.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. That's a baseball.
You were talking about the bunt earlier, and I thought that was what you meant. Like
the butt punt.
somebody won
The
on
bunt.
a sacrifice bunt.
No.
I mean, yeah, they basically. That's exactly.
I mean,
what happened.
ba-
It is
yeah,
almost exactly
kinda.
what happened.
Kinda.
Yeah. And then finally the Monday night game, Giants and Cowboys.
It went kind of as expected. You know,
Yeah,
the
it
Cowboys
was.
defense did what they were supposed to do.
It wouldn't be $10. Cooper Rush and
But
the Cowboys.
unfortunately, this week we had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
There's
There's been a lot of injuries every
this whole
week.
Season. Yeah, this
It's
whole
been-
season there's been a lot of injuries. but there's some notable ones. Sterling Shepard announced today he tore his ACL, so he's going to be out for the whole season. So he's going to be done there. Mac Jones he has a high ankle sprain. He's probably going to be out at least 10 weeks, so he'll probably miss the season.
Yeah, he might as well just call it the season at that point.
The season there. Jarvis Landry, he hurt his foot against the against the Panthers. He'll miss a few weeks. They said it wasn't serious. Dalvin Cook's shoulder, once again, hurt. So we can always count on Dalvin Cook to be hurt. And then the star wide receiver for Detroit and their actual running back, too, DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown, both out with a shoulder and an ankle injury. So that's some pretty notable injuries there. It's going to affect some people's fantasy.
And Montgomery there for the Bears.
Yeah, Montgomery's not been having a bad season.
And then also A.J. Green. The Cardinals, the only person they have to throw to against this game in Carolina is Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
That's the only person they have to throw to.
Yeah.
So our defense will have to shut down Kyler and hold down the middle of the field. And other than that, we should be all right. Because I don't know who else they have in the receiving
corps.
Well,
I think
Luvu. Frankie
He can probably spy Kyler.
He's having like a breakout season right now, dude. He's having a really good. Yeah, he did.
Gonna get up there.
Yeah, man. So,
but some kind of expected wins from around the NFL. I think everybody expected the Eagles to kind of handle that game, and they handled that game against the Commies. The Rams and the Cardinals, it was a good game, but ultimately the Rams did just wind up coming out on top there. Let's see, who else? The Ravens, who did even play? The Patriots. Unfortunately, the injury to Mac Jones kind of ended that game there for them.
Yeah.
And a game that did not go as expected, that we should have talked about a little bit, Colts and Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Colts actually get a win, and an unexpected opponent is the Chiefs there.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the Chiefs just had a lot of things go wrong. Penalties, like stupid penalties on the last couple plays of the game. Dropping touchdowns in the end zone, or dropping balls in the end zone for touchdowns and stuff like that. So I think the Chiefs are going to take their anger out on the Buccaneers. I don't think it's going to be a good Sunday night game.
No, it's just going to be a blowout, dude.
I am very concerned that the Chiefs' offense is going to have problems because the receivers were struggling to get open. Juju had a couple of those, good licks, but and they're going into Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's coming off a loss. They're probably not going to be too excited about that. And so, I'm worried about Tampa Bay's secondary just locking everybody down, but
they don't have the speed anymore. And that was our one weakness against Kansas City is we couldn't cover their speed.
I still worry, though, with Tampa Bay, with the way their offenses looked. It's just so hard to put any faith in it. But
Mikey's coming back.
But Mike Evans is coming back, so maybe that'll help. But
a bullshit suspension.
I still think the Chiefs have enough to figure it out, and they're not going to...
And we also probably will have Julio Jones as well.
We'll see.
And I've also heard murmurs on the Twitter that old Mr. Gronk is getting tired of partying down in Tampa.
Oh, here we go. What is it? What are we doing? Our picks for week 4? And you're already mentioning this?
And he's starting to work out. So we'll see what's
going on.
Dude, Tom was like, dude,
Tom was like, I'm tired of this shit.
Yeah.
Come protect me.
Tom Cullen was like, I have no one to block and I have no one to throw to. Come please.
As soon as he realized the Bucks couldn't swing a trade for George Kittle, they was like,
yeah. But
all
right, well,
I need to win more games if I want to sell more TB12 merch, dude.
That's true. But I think we could wrap up week 3 with that. It was just kind of once again an unexpected week for the NFL. Some kind of unexpected big winners, but then some just boring games. I mean, we have had some great games and we've had some absolute
schnoozers.
I mean, the Bucks game was horrible. The Broncos game was horrible.
The only good thing was the memes from a lot of games.
That's all we got from this week.
Good memes.
So yeah, that's that. But to end week 3.
We should go over the overalls, bro.
Yeah. So I actually wound up going 7-9. Aaron, what'd you go?
It was a little bit of a rough week. 5-11 was the score for this week. Not great. It sets me down at 20, 27-1, and then Dominic's at 25, 22-1. So I'm already behind 5 from the lead.
TK went 8-8, so he went even. He had a good week. So that's going to bring his total down up to 14-18.
It's a good bounce back week from
Yeah,
him.
it was a good bounce back week for TK. He had some solid picks.
I caught the TK bug from last week.
He was
too.
the only one to get the Cincinnati right game. So,
Yeah. And
Chase,
then-
what you got?
Yeah, I went 8-8. It was kind of a rough week. I saw a couple of the games, like the Bills losing to Miami. I kind of penciled that one in as a potential loss. The Lions game, I thought I had in the bag. Watching that game through 4 quarters,
they should have had it.
Even towards the end when they gave up a touchdown, I was like, or they gave up a touchdown or a field goal towards the end that set up everything. I felt like they still had control to be able to bring it home, and they fumbled the bag. But I like what I saw from the rest of the game, which is more than I can say for a lot of the recent seasons of the Lions.
Hell yeah.
But Chiefs losing, I don't know what to make of the Colts. I guess they're okay, and they just had a bad week, but we'll see. It makes me very uncomfortable for this week coming up, so I think this will probably be a big swing week, or I will realize that I do in fact have no idea what I'm talking about, and I'll just
Hey, you're tied.
absolutely
You're
get
tied with
cracked up.
Dominic for
Yeah, I
the
was
lead
gonna
right
say,
now.
you're at
Though.
the top,
You
man.
guys are both 25,
Hey, it's
22.
been
so
3 weeks. There's a long way to go. There's a long way to go.
A lot of picks to be made.
Yeah, man. All right, so this week we actually have a lot of picks that are going to be made. So we have both mine and Aaron's, and then Chase's. Then we also have TK, and then Strezo is going to be giving his picks as well for the NFL for week number 4.
We decided that if he beats us all, this is the last episode of the podcast, so it'll be nice.
Oh, I thought you meant if you went undefeated.
Oh no,
Oh, if he just beats us,
he just beats us, dude.
that's a strong possibility. We kind of suck at this.
We're out of here.
Say we kind of suck.
If you never
Honestly,
hear another episode, just
I don't-
know what happens.
I don't know about the validity of this idea, but it's going to be a live pitch. We should have one category that's just coin flip, where we just flip a coin to decide every game and just see how it goes. Just see
Okay.
how the coin flip can do.
All right, we can do that.
And see who can beat the coin flip, because I feel like if you
wanna
can't
take care
beat
of
a
that?
coin, if you cannot
We'll do
beat
that for
a
week
coin
5.
flip, then there is actually no use in you doing it.
So yeah, we'll
That's-
do that for week 5.
That's how you know that you are completely.
But we can do it before this
completely
week starts.
lost.
Well, you don't have to.
We'll
do
look
it on
into
camera.
it. There will be an investigation.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you don't have to do it
We're
on
gonna
camera. You
pull
can
an
just have the
F1
coin.
and
This is
just-
what the coin picked.
Yeah, I
Bam.
got what you're saying. We'll do some post.
Post.
We'll do something.
Honestly,
Classic
we could even go in and do the previous weeks in post, because it's not like the coin knowing the outcome of the game would help its pick.
That's also very
also very
true.
true.
So,
Okay,
That's also very
I
true.
like that. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, the coin's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I might go tails.
You're just setting me up for failure here.
You could do the whole season.
Yeah.
Go back to the first.
Yeah,
week.
Yeah, that's what he was
we could
saying.
go
Yeah,
ahead
he's
and
like
have
the
a
coin
prediction.
doesn't know who won. There's no influence.
We'll do it week by week. That way we don't ruin the suspense knowing week 16. If it's going in and it's a close race, we'll leave the coin.
Ooh,
picks
Dominic.
alone.
Also, maybe for suspense, instead of showing the whole week for what we've picked, since we go by it one by one,
Yeah,
you can.
We'll investigate our
Yeah.
procedures and
You
practice.
guys are really trying to make me do some work in post here. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I'll help you out with some of it.
Send as much to the editor as possible.
Send as much but, all right. So we are not going to drag our picks this week. We're going to try to hit some highlights and stuff like that.
Yeah,
we're
well,
going to
yeah.
hit all our picks, but
Yeah, we're gonna hit our picks, but we're not gonna focus on the teams. We kind of
Yeah.
just went over how we feel about all the teams, so
yeah.
we're just gonna keep our picks short and concise, and then we're gonna move on over to our power rankings.
Yeah.
Or should we do that now?
No, let's do the picks first. Oh no, actually, you know what?
Yeah.
Good idea. Let's do power
Okay.
rankings.
All right, so we're gonna hit our power rankings from. We made these before we saw week 3, and now we have our week 3 power rankings
Going into week 4.
going to week 4.
Yeah.
So
this is after week 3.
after week 3.
For all of you on TikTok who are yelling at us.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is
Stop
going
yelling
down.
at me, dude. I
Stop
fucking.
yelling at us.
We should definitely go to the bottom first.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right, so going in to last place, 32nd for this week is the Houston Texans. They fall one spot compared to they were last week. I feel like I guess the only argument there is probably just the Raiders, who we have right above them in the 31st spot.
Yeah, the Raiders took a plummet.
They're only there. I feel like
They are a
they're only
decent
there
team.
because they're the only 0-3 team.
Until they win a game, they have to be.
But they've also had a pretty tough schedule.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at who they played compared to where those teams were last year, they've had
Chargers, Cardinals, and who did they just play?
the Titans, who were the number one team in the
they were
AFC.
the number one seed in the
so
AFC. So yeah,
the Raiders have had a really stacked first few games here. So that's the only thing keeping them out of 32nd, and then 30th we have the Commies.
They dropped 2 spots.
They do drop 2 spots. They just
blown out by the Eagles.
Yeah. Which is kind of expected, but they weren't too far up the list before.
The Eagles could have easily scored 40. They just stopped.
Yeah.
They stopped scoring.
This week kind of just affirms that feels like where they should be. I feel like a lot of people, even in previous weeks, were like, they're not a very good team, and so...
Yeah.
And
then
Seattle's going to drop 2 spots. Just, I think, honestly, one of the better games of the week was Seattle and Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like, they actually put on a pretty good show.
Yeah.
Gino was, throwing some pretty damn good balls, man. Like, people be talking shit about Gino, but he's been throwing some good balls.
The Seahawks...
But they're not winning.
He's a decent
they're not
backup.
winning.
He's a decent backup.
We'll see.
He's a backup.
Yeah.
And then the Patriots definitely take a big plummet here, about 10 spots. But Mac Jones being out is definitely going to drop in the power rankings.
If they couldn't score before, they sure can't now. Unless their backup is crazy. I mean, that's how Brady got in. So we'll see.
It's how Brady got in.
But are they going to have Hoyer play?
Hell no, it's going to be Zach.
Okay.
Hoyer's retired, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought he was still.
He might have been in preseason. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah,
but anyway.
Well, you should know Brian Hoyer.
And then
Falcons are going to stay right where they're at.
Yeah.
They beat the Seahawks like, woo.
Yeah. He's still on their team.
Yeah, you still haven't proved anything else to me.
Brian Hoyer is still on the team.
Yeah, the Saints are falling. You can't lose to the Panthers, who we had ranked 32nd last week, and then not expect to be below them.
How do you have 350 passing yards and score 2 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Late.
Against the Carolina Panthers offense that couldn't do literally anything.
I don't even think they got past midfield more than like 3 times.
It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it. And then right above the Saints, we do have the Panthers.
Yeah.
They're climbing 7 spots. The hometown heroes, dude.
I mean, they win a game, and you cannot ignore the fact that defense is something.
Yeah,
like,
you cannot ignore the defense.
It's not the 32nd ranked defense.
It's not the 32nd ranked defense, for sure.
But I think where their defense is and then where their offense is kind of averages out to them being, what are they, 25th?
Bottom of the terrible teams, I feel like is a good place to put the Panthers.
Yeah. And then above them are the Colts. The Colts are going to climb 6 spots. They get a win against the Chiefs.
Very impressive. How can he not?
Right where they should be. They
Yeah.
should not be 1-1.
They should not be losing 24-0.
No, they're against the Jaguars. But I mean, hey, who knows? The Jaguars just we'll get
the
to
Jags
them.
might be
We'll get to them.
tough. Okay.
Tennessee's coming in at 25 or 23. Excuse me, 23. They're coming in at 23. They're going to climb 2 spots. They do get a pretty impressive win over the Raiders. They looked like they were going to win by big, and then the Raiders started coming back. But
I feel like Tennessee, unless the rest of these teams do worse, I could see Tennessee being a team that falls. It's tough.
I feel like Tennessee's going to be like an 8-9 team this year.
Because Derrick Henry, the thing is he hasn't looked super Derrick Henry, which is kind of what carries them and opens things up for Tannehill. But the problem is with Derrick Henry being in the position he is, the odds of him getting better as the season goes is lower.
I've never been a big believer in Tannehill, dude.
No, Tannehill's dookie. They'd be better off putting Malik Willis out there.
Next year, though, they're about to go crazy. Dude, next year the Titans are going to be wild.
I mean, Vrabel's very secure.
Vrabel's a good coach.
Very secure in that Tennessee.
Getting first in the AFC last year.
Like, there's no way, even if they are bad this year, he's going to get fired.
He could have 3 seasons.
I feel like he had 3 bad seasons.
Yeah.
They still keep him.
This year he could do bad. They'd be like, all right. Next year they try out Malik Willis. If that doesn't work out, they'd be like, okay, we'll give Malik and you Vrabel one more year. It was his rookie year technically playing. We'll see how it works, and then after that, if it's still dog.
I mean, they've got potential to like retool the team and be as good or better than they were. But they're gonna have to figure it out.
I mean, Derrick Henry's gonna be someone that's just gonna stay there. I mean,
but they can't rely on him for another.
That's why I'm saying
they're
gonna retool.
They're in their window.
They're in their window right now.
Like 5 years.
I would say like.
But if
things
Malik's
got to
out,
be good next year.
Yeah. They need to fix that. Yeah, we're Tennessee. The Bears, they're going to climb up 7 spots. They're 2-1.
I can't believe that they're winning games with
Strezzo,
Justin
Bears.
Fields.
Those my boys.
Justin
The
Fields
Bears.
is completing like 5 passes a game, and they're getting wins. Like
Through 3 weeks, the Bears have 23 completed passes. I just want to put that out there.
23.
I
Josh
can't
Allen threw
fathom that.
63
I'll
passes
say,
in one game.
Josh
and
Allen
they got-
completed 58 passes in one game.
Ugh,
Not
like-
58, 48. Excuse me.
Can you
48
stat check me?
for what? Oh, Justin Fields.
Justin Fields completions.
It's I think it's if
Because
it's 20,
I saw
think.
that. I need it to be true.
He has. Of course, it's not.
Don't
gonna
give
tell
us the
me.
percentage. Give us the totals here.
Well, you know the defense scores most of the Bears' points, right?
That is very true. There it is.
September 20
23 completions,
Yeah.
dog. Okay.
through 3 games. That is an average of what 7.1 or 2 a game.
That's
Like,
insane, dude.
and they're
That is
winning
insane.
games. I mean,
They're 2-1.
They got a sloppy win against the Niners, and then they did beat the Texans. They did beat the Texans.
Yeah.
they are.
Roquan Smith is a monster, dude. He had like 20 tackles.
I saw it, yeah.
It's like 2 picks, man. He was insane.
But we'll see. We'll see how the Bears do the rest of the season. I mean, if Justin Fields picks it up, they could be on the come up. But if they keep playing in the similar fashion, I could see them as a team where they'll be bottom of the bad or top of the bad teams, for the first half of the season, and then their shtick is just not going to work. So I could see them bottoming out, but we'll see.
I feel like we made a mistake. I think we should put the Jets underneath the Bears, Titans, and Colts.
No,
They lost.
I don't care.
What are they, 1-2?
They're all 1-2, and the Bears are 2-1.
Yeah.
I said I think we made a mistake. We should put the Jets at least above.
Is
Carolina.
this record rankings or power rankings?
Power rankings? They still looked bad. They still looked bad.
Okay.
Nah, if we're riding it,
Let me have my opinions.
All right,
if
whatever,
we're doing it,
whatever.
we're gonna ride because Zach Wilson might be coming back.
All right, Steelers. Steelers are above the Jets here at 22, or at 20, excuse me. They're gonna fall a spot. They just,
They're meh.
Yeah,
They're exactly where they
yeah,
are. Like
they're meh.
that's
I don't
where they
remember
deserve
who
to
They
be.
played the Browns.
Yeah,
so,
very mid.
yeah.
And then right above. Wait, where the fuck are we?
We're at the Giants.
Okay,
here.
yeah.
Giants coming in at 19. They lose a game to the Cowboys. I feel like whoever won that game, they weren't going to move really that much.
Isn't Daniel Jones now 0-9 in primetime games?
Oh, something crazy.
I think it's 0-9 in primetime games.
Is he going
They
for
don't.
like
I don't.
Kirk
They haven't
Cousins?
won a lot with Daniel Jones.
I mean, that's
It's
ridiculous,
unbelievable.
though.
Yeah.
And they keep giving him primetime games, dude.
Because it's the Giants.
And they keep.
I think that's the thing is he just hasn't won games, and they've played 9 primetime games, so
Yeah.
therefore he's lost 9 games.
One I agree with, dropping a spot even though they win, are the Broncos. That
Yeah.
was just
Dude, embarrassing, dude.
We're all sitting here expecting fucking fireworks out of Russell Wilson, and we're getting 11 points.
I mean, and they were getting. I mean, good for the Broncos for booing that.
Yeah, they should
not
boo the
not
shit out
not
of us.
only that effort by Russell Wilson and everyone else, but also just booing the coaching. The
Yeah.
coaching has just been absolutely horrendous for the Broncos. I cannot believe that Nathaniel Hackett has made just so many bonehead, fucking knucklehead moves, dude.
They're so bad.
It's like, go back to coaching high school ball, dog, if you're doing that. You're going to let, in the first week against the Seahawks, let 30 seconds run off the clock
Yeah,
and then call a timeout. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
they're not well coached right now, and it's
No.
obvious.
yes.
Coming in above the Broncos are the Cowboys. They win a good game against the Giants. They're going to move up 4 spots.
I'm starting to believe in Cooper Rush, bro. That's all I'm
The
saying.
team does not look bad.
No, it doesn't look bad because their defense is good, too. They've played.
They definitely proved me wrong from the beginning of the season. I thought the Cowboys were going to be bad, and I can see that this team is primed and ready to go for actually a pretty good run.
Especially
they
with
can
how.
challenge the Eagles.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well, maybe not challenge the Eagles, but definitely
Like
get
early
like a good
season,
wild.
maybe.
I could see them
I
for
feel-
a playoff team, and that's kind of where I felt like
See,
they could be.
now I feel a little bit more confident in me still having them in my wild card spot.
I kind of meant they will be a challenge for the Eagles, not they'll challenge the Eagles.
Oh, okay.
The Eagles, I got them as the number 1 seed, but I think of the division, the Cowboys will actually give a fight. And the
Oh, well,
Giants-
yeah. Yeah.
Lions, they're going to drop 2 spots. They should have won that game.
They should have.
Yeah.
And it's just because other teams also performed kind of well.
If they'd have won that game, I think they would be
Right where they were.
real higher. Yeah.
I would actually swap the next two above those.
No, if they'd have won that game, they would be. I think they'd probably be where
Yeah.
the Vikings are. I'd just swap. Yeah, I'd probably just swap the Vikings and the Lions. But
Yeah.
I think the Lions are primed to move up, though. I like what I saw. If they can figure out those last 5 minutes of the game, which I know is crucial for every team, but I think they're primed to move up, and I'm feeling a lot better about my Lions undefeated pick at the beginning of the season. Even though they're not undefeated, I don't sound as crazy. As
Yeah.
We're gonna drop the 49ers here above the Lions because they only scored 10 points.
And that
against
game
the
was
Broncos.
embarrassing.
That game was embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
Like, they did not look good offensively. So, and then above them, we're gonna put the Cardinals, another team who they just cannot seem to figure it out. They just cannot seem to figure it out. They're a good team. We just don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, the organization of or just the structure of their team. Like it seems they've got the talent. I mean, a lot of it's hurt, but they've got the weapons to do things. They just can't organize it as a cohesive unit to get things accomplished. It seems
So above them, we're gonna get the Bengals. We said if they got a win, we would bump them up, and they're gonna move up 10 spots.
Yep. They are now in the 13th
Yeah.
position.
I mean, if they just get over this stupid Super Bowl hangover, they're right there, man. They should be 3-0. They should easily be 3-0.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. It's just.
This
I don't
team's
know.
a good team.
Yeah.
They just need to figure it out and protect Joe Burrow, man.
Yeah.
Stop getting him killed. And then the Browns, they're above them. They move up 11 spots. I think they looked pretty good against the Steelers.
They were the team that looked pretty good in a week where you had a lot of teams looking pretty bad.
Yeah, they were consistent. They just, they're the Browns.
They did what they had to do.
Ball club until they get to Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. I mean, they won by 12. I mean.
Prayers up for Myles Garrett, who got in that car accident, by the way.
Yeah, true.
That is going to change their future.
Yeah.
I don't think he's hurt though.
He's not hurt, but he's not hurt. But I mean, he got in a car accident, so he can't be doing too well.
We'll see.
His
see
car
this
rolled
weekend.
a lot.
I mean, dude, that boy gets whiplash or whatever every time he plays football. I mean.
And then the Chargers coming off a pretty embarrassing loss.
Embarrassing, but also I feel like they're dropping more just because.
Yeah.
Not only that, but just we don't know how Herbert's going to recover.
They're just having a cursed season. They're the team that's just
already another cursed season for the Chargers.
Usually, there's one, maybe two teams a season where they have all the pieces to do things, and then it just doesn't happen due to injuries, bad bounces, positioning. Yeah. Bucks fan, I get it.
All right, and then above them are the Vikings. They're going to squeak out a win against the Lions. But that's going to keep them in at the 12th position.
It's moving them up one.
Or excuse me, no, they're in the 10th position.
Yeah, they're moving up one. I feel like that's fair, just for the comeback win.
Who's that? Hey, who's that number 9? Who's that number 9? Who's that team right there?
That's I believe that's Tampa Bay.
No, it's the Jacksonville Jags.
That's the Jacksonville Jags.
Moving up 10 spots.
What is the other Florida team doing?
The Jags.
The better Florida teams, like Jacksonville right now.
The Jags are in the top 10.
They're 2-1. And
they
shut out the Chargers.
They're leading the AFC South.
So they shut out the Colts 24-0.
Yeah, that's
and
impressive.
And then they blow out the Chargers 30-10.
And the Colts are a team that follows it up with a Chiefs win. So
yeah,
I mean, could be coincidence, could be bad weeks just happening
but
at odd times. But
they might be good.
We'll see.
They might be good.
They're playing the Eagles.
That's gonna be a very interesting
Big
game.
test. I say if they're close,
Hold on.
They stay in the top 15.
Hold on. Let me look at the line for this game right now.
All right, above them, we're going to have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in at number 8. They're going to be dropping a couple of spots. Their offense looks abysmal, but they don't have a lot of their offense out there at all. Tom Brady was throwing to Cole Beasley, who we signed on Tuesday.
This very well could be a typical Tom Brady storyline where the Bucs come out, take a couple injuries, they keep it in about, an easygoing gear for 10 or 12 games, and then they start really getting their offense together the last quarter of the season and really hit their stride in the playoffs. But who knows?
I say we're going to do 4-5, and then we're going to turn around and go 12-5. Yeah.
That's a streaky bet,
11-6.
but we'll see.
I'll take 11-6.
Going back to the Jags, though,
Yeah, what's the line?
they are plus 205.
I don't know what that means.
So if you were to bet $100 on the Jags to win
What's
this
the
game,
plus minus? The minus like
Spread.
1.5.
What's the spread?
Or spread,
hold
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Let me finish. So for the money line, the Jags are plus 205. So if you bet $100, and if the Jags win, just straight up, you'd win $205. And the Eagles are minus 275, so they're favored. So if you bet $100, I don't want to do the math, but you would win less than $100.
Yeah,
and
you
then-
win like $25.
Yeah, not like a lot. But yeah, so the spread, the Eagles are favored by 6.5.
That's a favorite. That's a pretty solid spread. I would take that. Yeah.
But that's for minus 110, so I'd rather take the Jags than the money line if you're a true believer.
I don't know what that means. Yeah, sure.
Money line means
Straight
win
up,
outright.
like they just
Yeah.
win. So the
Spread
Jags
means
win.
giving points.
This is why I just
essentially.
do picks. I just tell you who's gonna win. Packers above the Bucks. They beat the Bucks. Rams above the Packers. I think a lot of these teams right here, they're good teams. They're either
They need to
shot up
prove
with
something,
injuries.
dude. They need to prove
They
something.
need to prove something. Yeah, they need to prove that they're gonna. These are the NFC teams. These are the NFC teams.
Yeah.
That's what we got, man.
These are the-
I mean, that's what we got. The Rams, the Packers, and the Bucks. It's like we
Yeah.
don't really know what we got there, but that's the number 2, 3, and 4 seed. All right. And then above them, the Chiefs coming off a really weird loss to the Colts. I think it's going to drop them 3 spots, but mainly because we got some teams just moving up.
They're the strong team that has shown the most weakness, if that makes sense. Like, out of the teams that I feel like are the top flight teams, they were the one that showed the biggest weakness with how, like, locked down it seemed like their receivers were. Kind of like what I was saying earlier.
I mean,
You know, like, they are still 5th in the power rankings. So any of these top 5 teams next week could move up pretty well, and I don't see really, unless one of them gets embarrassed, I don't see them falling out.
yeah. Or
But
the
I feel
Steelers.
like out of those teams, they've shown the biggest weakness. I mean, you could argue the Dolphins, though, but I would still say, you know, as bad as that win looked, the Dolphins are a team that got a win against the Bills,
Yeah.
showing that kind of thing. And I feel like that's the sign of good teams, is when you can win when you play badly.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll see.
I think we can just kind of wrap it up with that. I mean, we got the Ravens in at 4, the Bills in at 3. Dolphins and Eagles are 2-1. They're the only undefeated teams left in the NFL. They both proved a lot this week. Eagles blowing out the Commies, and then the Dolphins being able to hold on even though through a sketchy injury to Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
They say he hurt his back, but that dude was stumbling.
Yeah, that was definitely concussion. I mean, just by like the eye test, he might have passed the whatever the protocol was. But
He
yeah,
sees in the 1, 2, 3s, but
yeah,
But all right, so we did a lot of there, but that's our power rankings. We're gonna
Yeah.
have them up there for you with all the the movings and stuff like that. We're gonna tell you who's the biggest mover, going up or going down, who stayed the most consistent, and everything like that. So we'll
Yep.
have some pretty cool stuff up there for you there.
Yep.
So we're just gonna run our picks. We're just gonna try to tell you what we think is gonna be most interesting, if we even need to talk about that with
yeah,
each game.
yeah. Week
So-
week 4 this time we're just gonna try to speed run this.
Yeah.
It's just because we have 5 picks to go through now. So
All right, so we got the Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals kicking off at 8:20 on Thursday Night Football. Can the Dolphins keep it going, or is Cincinnati going to turn their season around? I got Cincinnati turning it around.
I also I don't also, but I have the Dolphins taking this. I think they're riding off the momentum. Dolphins got it.
TK's got the Dolphins as well.
I'm going with the Dolphins. I don't feel really good about it. The Tua thing really bugs me, but I still don't trust the offensive line of the Bengals, and the Dolphins haven't given me a reason to doubt them yet, other than, you know, some shaky injuries and
Yeah.
stuff. So I think they'll keep going.
Streisand?
I got the Dolphins too. I feel good about it.
Good. All right, and then at 1 o'clock, in the 1 o'clock window, we have the Vikings and the Saints. This one coin flip for me. Vikings.
Vikings got to win this.
Yeah, I
TK's
think
got the Vikes.
somehow we all
Just 2 TK
decided to
buys.
go with the Vikings. You know, I feel like this is a coin flip game that everybody just kind of got the same gut feeling about.
It's a bizarre thing.
Yep.
50-50 chance we all pick the Vikings.
So there it is. And TK's got the Vikes. So Next, we got the Cleveland Browns and the Atlanta Falcons. Could be an interesting game. I got the Browns though. I think their defense is just good.
I'm gonna trust Marcus Mariota for this week. I'm gonna take the Falcons at home.
Chase, go ahead.
I'm gonna just go with the Browns. I think last week they showed us they're at least somewhat consistent, and I think the Falcons' offense is all right, but I don't think it's gonna do that well against the Browns' defense. So I'm gonna go with them, and hopefully Jacoby Brissett does all right.
Yeah.
I agree with Aaron. Home field advantage for the Falcons.
They've been pretty loud. They've been pretty loud in there.
They've been all right. They held it against the Rams, so that's what.
All right, we got the Commies at the Cowboys. I'm going to ride the Cooper Rush train. Let's keep it going. Let's go Cowboys.
I'm going against what I've been saying the whole time. I'm going with the Commies to sneak out a win here. They're at home, right?
No, Cowboys
No?
at home.
Fuck it. Either way,
Yeah.
Commies. I'm gonna take it. I don't like it, but I'm gonna take it.
Honestly, this is a game where I am fully prepared for Dallas to disappoint me. I don't ride or die Cowboy fandom, but this is a game where they set up to disappoint me because it should be Carson Wentz, Cowboys defense. I'll take the Cowboys defense all day, but
No, keep it twisted.
I'll go with them. We'll see how it goes.
They're keeping it twisted this week.
I can't do it, dude.
Yeah,
I'm drinking
keep it simply.
I'm drinking the Simply Spiked lemonades for the first time. They're pretty gas, but
We'll do a taste test portion at the end.
Nothing quite like a keeping it twisted moment when you finish a twisted tea and you gotta crunch the shit.
Teresa, who you got?
I'm jumping on the bandwagon.
Cooper Rush.
I have to go with Cooper Rush and the Cowboys.
Yeah, TK's going to be taking the Cowboys here as well. Next one, Seattle at Lions. Don't even need to talk about it. Lions.
Lions.
I hate it being a Bears fan, but you just got to go with it.
23 completions. That's all I gotta say.
And then there's TK, of course, with the Lions.
Lions.
All right,
Across the board, baby.
Across the board. We love the Lions in this home. We're Lions fans.
Oh,
and
the
then
Lions
the
play the Seahawks.
Titans
I gotta
and the Colts, both teams coming out with a surprising win.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Colts. I feel like I still kind of trust them a little bit more than the Titans.
Yeah, this one's a bit of a coin flip for me. I'm just kind of going against the grain here. I'm picking the Titans.
I'm hoping that the 24-0 loss was more the Jags than the Colts, and that the Colts are more of the team we saw last week. So I'm going to go with them.
Okay.
This is just a gut feeling for me going for the Colts.
Yeah, and I think TK's got the Titans. He didn't get a chance to revise his picks before this week, but I think he's got a pretty good feeling about the Titans.
Yep.
We got the Bears and the Giants. Could be another
Snoozer. Snooze.
Let's see if Justin Fields can throw get more than 9 completions.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But I'm gonna go with the Giants. I feel like they will just have passing yards. So
I like the Bears. They're playing at home. The field's kind of fucked. They're up in Chicago, so I'm taking the Bears.
Bears will be 3-1.
I'm hoping the Giants' run game can get some offense, and that I just have a feeling that the Bears' offense is going to continue to be more of the same. So I'm just trusting the Giants' running game to be able to do something and score more points.
I got to go with my boys, the Bears.
The Bears.
The next game, which I honestly think that should be flexed, but I don't know. The two primetime games are actually pretty good anyway. But the Jaguars at the Eagles. I'm going against what I have been saying all season. Duval, baby. Duval. They're going to beat the Eagles, even though I got the Eagles at the number 1 seed.
I'm picking the Eagles here. I think this isn't going to be... I think they're really going to want to stay undefeated, man. I don't know. That's what I'm hanging my hat on here, is I'm wanting to stay undefeated, so I'm going with the Eagles.
I'm trusting that Jacksonville is for real because, honestly, part of my heart just wants them to be for real. And I just don't see the Eagles being that team that goes on the undefeated run and goes like 8-9-0. I don't really see any team in the NFL right now doing that.
Who's the undefeated teams?
Miami and the Eagles are the only two, so I don't see any team.
Neither of them are making it past.
Usually there's 1 or 2 teams that'll make it to 7 even.
They'll pull the Steelers, get to like 11-0.
Yeah, but I just don't see the Eagles being that team, and I think Jacksonville's primed to really establish that they are a top flight team, and I still think the Eagles will be a top flight team, but
Yeah.
I think Jacksonville's primed to punch up a little bit.
I'm picking the Jags because I'm from the western side of the state.
Oh, yeah.
Grew up in Pittsburgh. Not a Steelers fan, but I just don't like that side of the state. So I will take an L regardless.
That's a fair L,
You're
dude.
talking to an audience composed of a lot of people from Philly.
Yeah, you're fine, bro.
I'm sorry for their loss.
Yeah, no, it's really.
Everybody can hate on me. It's fine.
All right. Next, we got the Jets and the Steelers coin flip.
Snoozer.
Yeah, Steelers.
Jets.
See, I picked the Jets too because
Fuck it.
Jets.
Fuck it.
TK's got the Jets, and sorry, TK has the Eagles on the last game as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah. I'm not the only one flying with the Eagles this week, too.
Fly Eagles fly. Next game, really good game once again in the 1 o'clock window. Buffalo and the Ravens. I feel like I trust the Ravens a little bit more. The Bills are still banged up in the secondary, so I'm definitely going to take the Ravens.
Yeah, I was gonna take the Ravens, but I need to make up ground here on my overall. So I'm going against the grain again, and I'm picking the Bills, even though my heart's my heart's telling me the Ravens are gonna catch this one.
I can't bet against Lamar Jackson right now.
He's scary right now.
Even in the game they lost, he pretty much played perfectly. So I think he is just going to keep rocking and rolling. So.
Yeah, I feel the opposite. I'm kind of, my gut's telling me going with Buffalo on this one.
Yeah,
so definitely, it could very well be a big get right game for Buffalo.
TK's on the Ravens here for his pick. Next, we got the Chargers, the Texans. Snoozer, Chargers.
Chargers.
And TK's got the Chargers.
Chargers.
All right, next, again, could potentially be a snoozer.
Maybe. Dude, the
but
Panthers.
Alabama,
The
really
Panthers
good
have
defense.
owned. The Panthers have owned the Cardinals
The
as of
Panthers
late,
have historically owned the Panthers.
and they're at home,
Yep.
right off the home win.
And they're in the 4 o'clock window. Not a usual time for the Panthers to play.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be interesting. I'd like to see the Panthers shut down Kyler, and if they do that, I would say that defense is for real.
Yeah.
So I'm going to,
However,
I'm picking the Cardinals.
I'm also picking the Cardinals.
I think this is definitely going to be a game where Kyler is going to wear out the defense late, and the Carolina's just not going to be able to score enough points to make the game out of reach, and it's going to be real bad late.
I got to go against the grain and pick the home team.
Well, I'm wolfing it here with the Panthers. Do we have any? Okay,
Yeah, TK is also with the Cardinals on that, so Streez is alone on the Panthers. Dub.
Next,
I feel like if TK was here, he would have picked the Panthers.
yeah, probably. Next, we got the Patriots, Packers, Pack.
Mac
Pack.
Jones is hurt.
Pack.
Mac
so-
Jones, yeah.
Pack.
It hurts me to say it, but
Pack.
got to go Packers.
Yeah,
All right,
especially
we got the Broncos and the Raiders. Potentially, the Raiders' first win.
Yeah.
But I do think that the Broncos are going to win this game. I think the Raiders' defense is going to be a good opening up point for the Broncos to get that offense rolling.
Yeah, I think for me, the Raiders are going to be hungry, and the Broncos coaching and just play has not proven to be enough, so I'm picking the Raiders.
I'll admit it, I just don't want the Broncos to win because watching them is so painful.
Yeah, that's true. Let's ride, baby.
I got to go Raiders on this one.
And TK is going Raiders as well. Next game. So we could potentially have a weird shakeup with this game. It could probably not be played in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Potentially could either be played in Miami. There's been word of it being moved to the Superdome. Are the Saints at home this week? So no, they won't move it to the Superdome.
They can move it up here.
Yeah, they could move. No, all the NFC South teams are at home, so they would probably have to move it to Jacksonville. But who knows with Hurricane Ian coming this way. But anyway, with all that being said, the Chiefs are going to win this game, but I am picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because I love them.
Buccaneers offense has just been in shambles this year, so I'm taking the Chiefs. Simple.
I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm, again, very worried about the Bucs secondary, but I'm hoping the Chiefs kind of get right this week.
I'm picking the Chiefs, but If they move to the game to a different place, your sign
We're good.
could
We're
be
set. We need a neutral site. You're right. We are set. Yeah, he's referring to my John McKay quote here. I have pretty much enshrined. It says, "We've determined that we can't win at home and we can't win on the road. We need a neutral site." That was when the Buccaneers were 0-26 to start their franchise out.
Hell yeah.
So that was that. And TK does have the Buccaneers here, but again, it's an old pick. I would assume he probably would pick the Chiefs if he was here.
I don't know, man. Maybe after seeing him last week, he might still be riding with the Bucks.
I would not be riding with the Bucks.
Well,
I would not be riding with the Bucks if they weren't my Bucks.
I'm trying to justify his pick a little bit.
And finally, the Monday Night Football game, we have the Rams at the Niners. I have the Rams running in here. They own the 49ers under Sean McVay.
The only reason I'm picking the 49ers is partially because they're at home, but also I think because Jimmy G's, number one, that was his first time starting this season. The last time he played in week 2, whenever they were at home, he played pretty well. But I think that, I don't know, I think Jimmy G will be able to do something at home. I don't know. It's just kind of, everyone picked the Rams pretty much. I was just trying to, I said I just need to make up some ground, so I'm trying to make some strategic picks. Hope it doesn't put me in a deeper hole.
STREZO? Oh, sorry, Chase.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I'm just going with the Rams. I have more faith in them than I do the 49ers offense. They haven't looked great, but last week was didn't put a lot of confidence in.
No, definitely not.
Same here. Got to go Rams.
And then TK has the Rams as well. That's his team. So TK does.
Is that his?
Yeah, he likes the Rams. Yeah, you didn't know that?
What a bitch.
He likes the Rams. I think he likes the Panthers too, but. I think
Well, yeah, he definitely likes the Panthers.
Yeah, I always thought.
He wants to go boo fucking
Baker Mayfield. Yeah, we definitely booed Baker Mayfield this weekend.
Oh yeah, you had to do it. He was terrible.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Chase.
But yeah, that's the NFL Week 4. We take a little bit longer on the NFL in the podcast, but that's just because that's what we all are really good at. We all really like to watch the NFL.
I think
good
good is a bit of a strong statement, but we'll allow it.
Yeah, we'll definitely, when the other sports come back, the NFL will not be talked about as much. We'll just probably run down like a really quick week 3, like a really quick the week before, and then our picks after that, because we definitely want to be talking about NBA, NHL, when those sports come back at the end of the month. It's almost here. The NHL is back almost, so that is that. Well, we're going to move on to a sport that is kind of wrapping up its season. NASCAR. So we had the who won last week again? Chase, was it
Tyler Reddick got his 3rd career win, and since he is not in the playoffs, no one is locked into the next round, and it was a bit of a clusterfuck to say the least. The race as a whole. But
there was a lot of tire issues here at Texas.
There was a lot of tire issues and a lot of finger pointing going on the Twitter and the podcasts and the behind the scenes, I'm sure. But it was a race that happened.
Joey finishing 2nd really helped his playoff standings. He currently sits at the top.
You got a lot of playoff drivers that were severely affected, shall we say, during this race.
Especially Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott crashed out. He's in a weird spot because he's on the back foot, but it's essentially a situation where him winning the regular season title was specifically for something like this, so that he can have a race like this where just nothing goes right for anybody.
He had a race like this a couple years ago.
And, he's still 11 points to the good, I believe, so he's still in a pretty solid spot, and he's got the Roval still to come, and
he's gonna be
that's kind of his bread and butter. So he's still in a pretty okay spot. I'm not really worried about my championship pick. Once it resets again, we'll be back as long as he makes it in, which I think he will, considering
I think he can
coming
easily
from
beat
outside
out
in.
Bowman, Bell, Byron, Cindric. Cindric had a good race, was able to get back up in there and get it push up for some points.
Unless one of those guys steals a win, I do not see them pointing their way in.
But what track's next though?
Talladega. Yeah, that could be a track for them to do it. But
Michael McDowell for the dub.
The good thing is,
all right, lock it in, Michael McDowell.
essentially he's just used up that regular season advantage. So I think he's all right. But looking around, I mean, you got Denny Hamlin, who got into a wee bit of an incident with Byron, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
And I get him and Alex Bowman mixed up all the time, so I apologize. But because Bowman crashed out, but him and Byron got into it. NASCAR is under a wee bit of flack, we'll say, for quote missing the incident between Byron and Denny Hamlin. So I haven't got any news as of recording as to what the penalties are going to be long term. Denny got sent to the back of the line. And nothing happened to Byron yet, so we'll see how that pans out. But, that could maybe they potentially penalize Byron some playoff points, who knows. But
Strees?
As of right now, that's where it's at.
Would you like to make a championship and also next race selection for NASCAR? Even though, I mean, I don't really watch the races. I know the big drivers, but dude,
you can only pick from the top 12.
And Talladega is wide open, so it might as well be a coin flip.
Man, the last time I watched NASCAR was probably at least 6 or 7 years ago. I don't even recognize.
Yeah, I know,
names.
dude. It's different.
Let's see.
It's different.
Except for Logano.
There you go.
Yeah,
He's from. He's actually, his parents are the ones that own the Extreme.
Yeah, I know. My dad did masonry. He's owned a masonry company, so he did 2 jobs for the Logano's actually, which is pretty cool.
And my dad works for Penske. That's the team.
Yeah, dude, and his dad has worked for Penske for like 30 years, dude. It's ridiculous. It's so cool.
Master Skip.
Scoutmaster Skip, shout out. Subscriber on YouTube.
Even though he doesn't know it.
Yeah, no, he does know it now.
Oh, no.
He watches us. He watches us.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, he does. The whole time. He watches the whole podcast.
No, I'm
Gotta get
scared.
that watch
Shout
time,
out to my
baby.
dad.
I'll send it out to
he
the
has
whole
to- he
internet,
has
but
to
you
sit
tell
through
me
the
Don
brutality of
would
the NFL to get to his NASCAR talk.
Get to the NASCAR talk, baby.
And we don't really talk about it.
Has he?
But
How much has he roasted any of our picks? No, because I know he didn't. I know he didn't roast mine because I picked Joey Logano as my championship winner.
Yeah, no, he's fine. We don't really know. It's kind of wide open. So, but I think overall, Talladega, we've talked about it. Talladega's wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody can win this track. There's strong guys out there. Brad can come out of nowhere. Big Bad Brad.
Big Bad
Big Bad
Brad.
Brad Keselowski.
He looked really good at the start of Texas.
Yeah, Cindric's good. Cindric's good at Daytona, so he could come around and get really good at Talladega. Austin Dillon has a lot of wins at super speedways. So
Still
not a lot
locking
of
it in.
wins, but he has
My
wins
pick,
at super speedways.
if I'm allowed to pick outside of the top 12,
For
Oh,
the
yeah.
win?
Yeah, for the win,
I'm
yeah.
taking Bubba Wallace to win this
Heck
race.
yeah, let's go.
If I'm being honest.
Should we go and write it? Should we go to write it down?
He's been looking pretty good
get
in
the picks down.
45. That's his strength. I think Bubba could win this race.
Okay.
He's had a really good year, and especially now that he's on the 45, he's been cooking. So.
Michael McDowell, dog.
Oh,
Lock it in.
you're sticking with Michael McDowell?
Lock it in.
I don't know how to spell it.
You know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
You just got.
Michael McDowell.
You know what
Is
they're
he
talking
a race?
about.
Where is he?
You go up, go up.
Past him.
No,
Oh
but
my
he's
God,
in
this is
23rd.
painful.
23rd.
If you're having to watch this, oh my God.
All right.
He's still messed up.
Streeza, do you want to pick a winner?
No.
No.
I was gonna say. I was
no.
like.
All right, how about what brand of car is going to
Yeah,
win?
there you go. What brand car? Ford,
You got
Toyota,
Ford,
or
Chevy, and Toyota.
Man, Chevy.
All right.
Chevy's taking it home.
That's a bad pick.
That's a bad thing. We'll see. I mean, it's Talladega.
Actually, it is a Dega.
I'm told that I look like Dale Earnhardt Jr.
You do.
Somebody told me that once.
A little bit. I
That's
see it.
decently fair, yeah.
Who's winning at Dega? Oh God, I'm taking Cindric.
He already has one Super Track win.
Yeah, I'm taking Cindric.
Is it Super Track?
Super Speedway.
Super Speedway.
Yeah, it's just
Whatever.
Super
Same.
Super Speedway.
And then for the championship, like I said, the Roval's going to be
We
the
already
elimination.
Well, he has to pick.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. Like, we're still talking about
Well, I know he's
NASCAR,
got to
so,
pick. I'm
like,
saying of us, yeah.
But, I mean, like, we still have the Roval coming up. That's going to definitely be a Chase Elliott track.
I'm still happy.
It's going to be a Truex.
Dude, but you say that, but whenever we went in 2019, it was a Larson track. Was that 2019? No, it was definitely not 2019.
Larson has gotten much better at road courses.
2021, yeah, that's right.
But I'm not saying Chase Elliott's going to win, and I don't think he needs to win. I think he can just get third or fourth and point his way in.
Roval is one of his tracks that he can easily.
He's just going to be running strong, unless he gets crashed. But that's,
You're good. You
if you have two races where you crash, that's just way of the road. Of course, you're going to get eliminated. But
Blaney's also pretty strong at the Roval. He's had some pretty strong performances.
Yeah, he is.
But he needs to stick where he's at. Blaney needs to stick in the top 4 because he's definitely a sleeper to get this championship. He just needs to get a win.
I would love to see Blaney get a championship.
I would love to see Blaney win this championship.
Watch him start just to be a menace out of nowhere.
Just tearing through.
Just menace. Just bumping motherfuckers out the way.
But
Stuff that he doesn't normally do. That'd be awesome.
This has definitely been what NASCAR wants. All right, NASCAR wants to be close and parity.
The way they're going about doing it, at least the last at Bristol and Texas, has not been the best. But because not to harp on Texas race, but Texas, if you watched it, is essentially just playoff driver A takes the lead for 5 or 10 laps, maybe a little bit longer, but it feels like a short period of time. Yeah. Blows a tire, and then you get the next person in line. They lead for a little bit, blow a tire, and then you just run through the rotation until you get Reddick, who can somewhat hold the lead and finish the race.
Not to shit on F1, but I don't watch a lot of F1 mainly because it's Max Verstappen the whole fucking time in first place.
Well, this season,
yes.
But last season it was wild. I'm still gonna watch it.
No, I would watch it, yes. But
I want to see Ferrari blow it every week.
Like that, where it's like Truex has been leading 270 of the 300 laps, and it's like, oh, cool, great. Why do I want to watch this? But now it's like, oh, Bubba Wallace is winning, Tyler Reddick is winning.
The problem is as much as we harp on not liking it, you need those races to feel like someone who is doing well is being rewarded. Because if you have too many races like Texas, it starts to feel like it doesn't matter if you're better or not. It's gonna just no matter what you're gonna say.
You still need the Chase Elliott who got 4 wins on the season. You still need that. Like Jimmy Johnson, like back in the day, like the Jimmy Johnsons who would win a lot and stuff like that.
But this season, I think overall, for the most part, with the exception of a few handful of races. Again, it's the first year of the car. I'm sure they'll get it tuned, but they've done a great job of having parity without it feeling entirely random.
Yeah. They usually get away from
there's
Goodyear.
Several changes.
Yeah, they need to move on to Goodyear.
For example, I feel like that Goodyear conversation's a little much to get into right now because you got a lot of back and forth.
It's not that. We don't.
But at least in general, I feel like they're going to get the car and they're going to work with Goodyear at least to get it to a point where they can have the parity of this season without it feeling totally random and do things. Ideally, down the road, maybe they do things like get rid of the cautions in between the stages.
I want to just get rid of fucking stages. I hate stages.
I don't care. I would not care about the stages if they did not have the intentional break. Just have it to where at the end of this lap you win, but you keep racing.
Just make the fucking races shorter. Just make the races shorter. I don't want to sit there for Texas and watch a 5.5 hour long race.
That's another thing. I feel like, and I agree. I heard somebody say, make the Coke 600 the longest race of the year.
Keep
and make
that
special.
Keep
make
that
like a much
special.
longer race.
That race is shorter than Texas.
But if they keep it the only one that's unchanged and they cut the others down in half,
I would not say a half, by a quarter.
By a quarter, okay.
Start with that and see what happens.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe
okay.
That is
so to start, cut it down by a quarter, but keep the Coke 600 the way it is because that's like the endurance race of the season.
Like
but that's also like Singapore going into Formula 1.
Yeah, Formula 1.
So Singapore is basically the endurance race of the season. It's the longest track, and they run so many laps, dude. It's the longest race, and the drivers at the end of it are always like super exhausted, man. So I think it's important, especially because we haven't had Singapore, I think, since the start of COVID on the F1 season.
And I think too, with NASCAR being a somewhat endurance, at least focused series, it's important to have that one crown jewel that is the big endurance race, kind of capping it off. Like the World Endurance Championship has the 24 hours of Le Mans.
I would say the Rolex 24 hours.
You know, they've got like the big crown jewel endurance races, and I feel like NASCAR, with the way they run their championship, having more than one crown jewel like that. You know, like Daytona is going to be the Daytona 500. Your other ones show your other disciplines, and I feel like that one needs to be your endurance race that is just the longest, most brutal to really show that part of the NASCAR.
Make it the Coke 800.
I don't know about that. I think it needs to stay exactly
the Coke 1000.
I will never advocate for it being longer. I will never advocate for it being longer, but I think it's important it stay the length that it is.
Speaking about racing legends, like McQueen.
Oh my god!
Lightning McQueen announces retirement.
This entire time, I've just now realized.
Was your mic not plugged in?
My mic's not plugged in.
You fucking dumbass.
Were you listening? Was the microphone on your?
It's on my computer, but we'll just use his.
Okay.
Damn.
It's not like your opinions were important anyway.
All right,
not like it
so I
mattered.
think we should definitely, on that sad note, wrap up.
God, bro, not the whole thing.
What a just anticlimax.
Boys, this was the longest podcast we've had. I'm very
It
proud.
was a good one.
I'm not even gonna say this.
It was a good one.
Boys, like I said, I am very glad you came out here, Streez. I'm sure everyone that I hope everyone enjoyed the Broomball talk, and I hope you all liked our week 4 predictions. We're gonna see how it all plays out. But yeah, until next week, guys, we will see you. Thank you for joining Sport Ball for another week. Let's go. Sport Balls.